April the 8th, I started getting sick, fatigue. On the 10th, I went down to Blvd to take a COVID test. On the 15th, I came back and said that I was positive. And right away, I was feeling worse. And I ended up going to Chippenham Hospital, to the emergency room.
He had a fever that would not go away. They put him on dialysis eventually after he'd been there like 3 days. But before that, he had started feeling like really depressed and felt like he was not going to make it. And so we had I had reached out to Assistant Pastor Mitchell to let him know what was going on and to reach out to the bishop. And within 20 minutes of me calling, and I called Alex, and the bishop had already called and talked to him.
Talking to the bishop, he said, let me talk to the nurse. They were throwing around such big words. I didn't know what they were talking about, but it sounded confusing, but evidently the bishop, he knows his stuff. And nurse gave me back the phone. She said, and he told me, don't worry about it, bro. You're in good hands. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You'll be okay. And 2 days later, I was on the ventilator.
Mm-hmm. He went on the ventilator, and he was on the ventilator and is about 100% at one point. And so he was on the ventilator from, I believe, the 18th through the 29th of April. And then after the 29th, on the 29th, actually, I got sick and went in the hospital. Did not want him to know anything about it, so we kept that from him. But I went on the 29th. He came off the ventilator that night of the 29th. The next day, he was calling people, calling the kids, calling everybody to find out how everybody else was doing. It was like a miracle that he had come off, and he came off talking. The 8th of May, you were
transferred to Johnson Willis Hospital, where they did rehab for me so I could walk. I couldn't walk when I left there. Couldn't stand up over 2 seconds. And in 3 days, my kidney function improved so much they took me off of the dialysis, continued dialysis, and that was a miracle.
And he was released from Johnson Willis on the 22nd. And I can't remember which day of the week that was, but that Sunday we had listened to a service by the bishop, and Alex was actually having a very bad day that day, and the bishop was talking about trials and tribulations and what you have to go through, and that lifted his spirits a bit. And then we also had planned a surprise parade for him to welcome home. So we had family and friends and co-workers who came by waving with balloons, noisemakers, blowing the horns, shooting fireworks, and that lifted his spirits so much. He was just totally amazed and totally surprised.
Make a long story short, I started off making no steps to 2.2 miles a day, walking once or twice a day. So.
And he went back to work full-time on his job, which they thought it was amazing. He went back on June the 15th, and they thought that was like a miracle. And then he has a side company, and he actually started working back on that company as well on June the 15th. So he's back fully in swing, even though he's still going through physical therapy.